Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Women of Wrestling podcast. I thought you got rid of us, didn't you? But you didn't. We're back after about a month. Irish Stew here, along with Freaky Lee.
Hello.
And it's the end of March, and the last podcast we did was the end of February. So apologies for the delay, but we have been busy lining up some guests, so we will be doing some more full podcasts in the next coming month.
Yeah, it's not like we've been doing nothing, though. We have got some audio that's sitting on the website for you to listen to right now. So if you are listening to this on iTunes, which, by the way, I urge you to subscribe to, and also you can subscribe to Stitcher and listen to us on the move as well. But if you go to the website directly, we have some Fight Like a Girl interviews and some My Name Is interviews that you can have a listen to.
Yes, these are the website exclusive audios. And I guess if you add up the shows we've done over the last month, it's probably about, I don't know, maybe about an hour and a half of audio there. So if you do need to know what's going on in the world, go to the website, find out all the news, and also listen to the audio as well. What we got, Lee?
We have, as far as Fight Like a Girl interviews are concerned, we have Trina Michaels, who you spoke to about a month ago. We also have Penelope, who I spoke to ahead of the Bellatrix 5 iPPV, and also Santana Garrett, who you spoke to just ahead of Shine 8.
Yes, Trina Michaels, of course, was talking as well about Dragon Gate USA, and we're getting towards the WrestleCon weekend, which is going to be next weekend, which means live iPay-per-views for Shimmer, Dragon Gate, and Evolve. So if you're checking out some of that, you want to know what's going on with Trina, do that. Santana Garrett, who I spoke to, I mean, she was announced on the show as being part of the Shimmer tapings in Berwyn in 2 weeks' time as we talk about this.
Yeah, and then Penelope was also talking up the Bellatrix 5 iPay-per-view, which happened about a week or so ago, in which she had a great match with Erin Angel, which is still available to buy, that you can go to epic-tv.com and buy it there for £10. My Name Is guests. We spoke to Violet Vendetta about 2 weeks ago about her managing with her 50s pin-up look and all her tattoos. And then also recently we spoke to Chastity Taylor, the one of the voices of CWF Mid-Atlantic, who is so wonderfully sweet that she'll possibly give you diabetes.
Her enthusiasm is infectious. I did really much enjoy that. And she's also the pre-show ring announcer for Shimmer. That's on the Sparkle matches before the Shimmer show in Berwyn. So if you're going there, you'll know who that is in the ring.
I guarantee you will listen to that and you will leave with a smile on your face.
There you go. You can't say fairer than that. But, those are things that you and I do solo, so to speak, with the guest. But we're back together here, which means only one thing, full-on podcast fun and frolics.
Yes, and we've got someone who we've been trying to get for about the past 6 months or so.
Yes, and it's not like it was a difficult one to get hold of, but it was a difficult job of getting everybody's schedules aligned and basically just finding a time that we can do it. So we finally got it done, and it was actually pretty good timing as far as the fact that she's going to be in one of the feature matches on Shimmer Volume 53 next weekend.
Yeah, so she's going to be taking on Ayako Hamada in a rematch from Shimmer Volume 52.
That might be quite good, that match.
It might be.
Yes. So that's Athena, and that's coming up in mere seconds. And apart from that, remember that we've got a busy month coming up now on the website with big shows from Shimmer, Shine, Pro Wrestling Eve.
Yeah, there's quite a lot going on this month. We are in silly season. We are deep into the silly season.
And as we record this, actually, and this goes up on the website on the 31st of March, last night was Femmes Fatales 11 up in Montreal. History-making night, 3 championships defended, 2 championships changed hands.
Yeah, so we have a new Bellatrix world champion in Courtney Rush, who defeated Alison Danger. And then we also have a new Femme Fatale international champion in Mercedes Martinez, who was the first person to knock Calamity off her perch.
Yes. So that's interesting, and the feud between LuFisto and Mercedes Martinez looks like it's going to continue unabated for some time.
So keep an eye on Femme Fatale, because it looks like this thing's rumbling on.
Yes. But without further ado, let's get to our guest at this time. the wrestling goddess, Athena. Okay, we are back now with our guest at this time. She is going to be a big part of Shimmer Volume 53 this coming weekend at WrestleCon and on iPPV as well at WWNlive.com. We are talking about the wrestling goddess, Athena. All praise, Athena.
What's up?
Not a lot. Well, actually, I say not a lot. Actually, a lot is the answer. We're on the road to WrestleMania, which is also the road to WrestleCon, and that means Shimmer Volume 53, and that means you wrestling Ayako Hamada.
Yes. My second match against her, and I really have to pull out a victory this time.
What's it like wrestling somebody with the sort of international reputation of Hamada? I mean, obviously you've done it before, but I mean, it's got to be a case of stepping up your game big time.
I think it's definitely something that's knocked off my game a bit, because Hamada is one of those people that I've looked up to since I first started wrestling, and it's really just a dream come true that I'm in the ring with her and getting to wrestle with her. The first time around, we had a 20-minute battle. Devastating. I ended up messing up my knee trying to do a knee stomp from the top rope onto her, and I ended up losing the match because of it. So the reason why I got my rematch at WrestleCon is that I convinced her that I have to prove something, and I do believe that. I have to prove something to the Shimmer locker room, to any locker room that watches Shimmer, to all the fans out there, that I can beat Ayako Hamada. And by doing that, I can make a bigger name for myself, because Hamada has literally done everything. She's been on television. She's been all over the world. She's been to Mexico, Japan. She's even come here. Like, you know, that would just be just a huge accomplishment and a big scratch off my list.
It's a big event, Shimmer Volume 53. I mean, there's 400 plus tickets sold. Pay-per-view, iPay-per-view pre-sale is going quite well as well. It's like I said, it's at WrestleCon. It's in New Jersey. It's WrestleMania weekend. There might be a lot of new fans there who maybe haven't seen you wrestle live before. Is that any more pressure, or does that just make you feel a little bit more excited about the whole thing?
I definitely think, like, as of right now, it's not any pressure, but I know when I get there, it's definitely going to have a toll on me. Being in front of, like, huge crowds is always awesome. It gives you a lot more excitement, you know, just gets you more pumped to do stuff. But, like, at the same time, you have to make sure you're not making a complete jerk of yourself out there as well. You know, you don't want to go out there and miss a move that you normally do. It definitely adds to the pressure when you're on there. I mean, I know I've been in front of crowds before that have just, like, knocked me you know, completely back by how many people are there. And once they start chanting your name, you get so, like, into that it just totally takes your focus away from the match. And hopefully it won't do that. But, I mean, that's always a factor in having matches.
And I guess one of the other cool things as well is that technically your match versus Hamada for Volume 53 was the first match announced for the show.
Yes. It actually happened because I challenged her right after my match at Shimmer, Volume 52, when we wrestled. She ended up beating me, like I said, but immediately after, you know, what better way to have a rematch than on one of the biggest stages for Shimmer, and including having the iPay-per-view as well.
Expecting a crowd of over 500 there live, I mean, does that make this the biggest show you've ever been part of, or are there other ones that are bigger?
It's definitely, for Shimmer, this is going to be one of the biggest shows I've ever been on, for Shimmer. But I think still to this day, like, I got to wrestle for Ring of Honor, and they're a humongous soccer field of a crowd, for lack of a better term for it. And that took me back. I mean, there have been shows that, you know, have tons of people out in the audience, but if they're not involved with the show, what's the point of having all those people out there watching? And I think that's one thing that Shimmer has an edge on, you know, not saying anything bad against ROH or anything like that, but Shimmer fans are Shimmer fans. And they're going to yell and scream and throw stuff and do whatever they can to get their hearts into it, you know, and that's something that I think is going to be very, very awesome, including, you know, us having that first iPay-per-view is really going to help boost everything as well. I mean, I think it's just going to be a huge opportunity for Shimmer and for us to get new fans to come and see us when we're in Irwin or wherever.
You mentioned Ring of Honor, actually, and it's a fair point. You have wrestled there, I think, twice this year so far?
Yeah.
And you actually pulled out a win in your last appearance there as well in a 4-way. What's your position as far as Ring of Honor going forward? I mean, I assume there will be a big future for you in that company as long as they keep running women's matches.
I don't know what I can say about that, honestly. I do know that I am going to be a part of Ring of Honor. I honestly, as of right now, I don't know how big or small that's going to be, but I know I will be there in the future. So, but that in itself was awesome as well. I mean, my goodness, Ring of Honor is something else. I'll tell you that. It was fun. I think I actually ended up tripping on my first entrance.
Really?
Going down the Ring of Honor because I was so taken back. Like, when I first appeared, it was in Baltimore, and I didn't think that anyone would know who I was. Because I've never wrestled in Baltimore before. Like, I've never even been near Baltimore, and as soon as I came out, they started chanting my name, and I was like, oh my goodness, they know who I am. That's awesome. And I ended up tripping going down the ramp. Like, oh, you know what, it's cool. Just trying to shake it off, I guess.
That's all right. You just get it out of the way early. If you think, okay, if that's the only mess up that's going to happen, then it's a good day.
Yes.
As long as you don't shockmaster yourself, that would be quite embarrassing.
Ooh, I do not want to shockmaster myself. That is true. I mean, never. If that happens, I don't think there's any shaking it off or laughing it off. At that point in time, I should just walk back through the curtain and be done.
And there's volume 53 all sorted out.
Oh, don't say that.
No. If I say it, I'm tempting fate, and then it won't happen because you'll be thinking about it so much it won't happen. What I've done is I've planted the seed so it doesn't happen. This is all good psychology.
Right.
Oh, great.
Trust me on this.
Good Lord. Anyway, so yes, we'll talk some more about Shimmer. We'll come back round to that as the conversation comes around that way. But I'm interested to go right back to the start of your career in wrestling and the fact that your original training was done by General Skandor Akbar.
Yes.
Now, I mean, that's a name, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not like we got a lot of this footage in the UK when I was growing up, but it's a name that I recognise very, very, very strongly from PWI and a bunch of those magazines back in the day. And, I mean, I remember Skandor Akbar quite clearly, and I think it's crazy cool that you were trained by Skandor Akbar. So tell us how that all came about. How did you end up going to his school, and what was training like there?
I actually ended up... when I first wanted to start wrestling, I actually ended up going online, trying to research people. I think I was like 17 or 18 when I actually started looking for wrestling schools. I was in college, just trying to get stuff done, trying to balance college and try to do this under my parents' nose, because I was still living with them at 18. And I just wanted to find, I don't know, something I could do. And part of the reason why was because my grandfather died my senior year in high school, and I kind of just went into like this huge funk, if you will. Like I actually ended up quitting soccer for a little bit. So much stuff just happened. Like I ended up quitting soccer, quit gymnastics, quit just everything, and I was just like the little gothic black kid in high school, like dark makeup smeared across the face. Like for the last 3 or 4 months, that was me.
Yeah.
Yes. But that summer, I actually ended up looking for wrestling schools. I saw old stuff for Shawn Michaels' school, a school called in Georgia. And I think one more school, but I ended up finding this guy that was like, yeah, I run this wrestling school. So I was like, all right. He's like, come out to meet me, blah, blah, blah. So I went out in front of this really rundown old gym. And he's like, okay, walked me through the gym. And I didn't see a wrestling ring, which I was like, you know what? Maybe they just don't have it set up. Like being the smart kid I am, fresh out of high school, going to college. So he's like, okay, cool, I'll be here tomorrow, blah, 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 just, bring the money, whatever. So it's like $1,500, that's your entire wrestling school right there. All right, awesome. So I ended up coming back the next day, giving the guy the money. He said, all right, we're going to start training tomorrow. Cool, be here at 8 o'clock sharp. The gym will be shut down, and we have full range of the building. I go back to this gym. The gym is closed. There's no sight of this guy, and I sat out there for about an hour. So this guy literally took $1,500 from me and just took off.
Oh, what a
that
guy!
That was my very first introduction into wrestling.
And yet you stayed.
Yes, I was. I don't know what it was. Like, I think like 4 or 5 months later, I ended up finding Akbar School, and which was in what city was I in Mesquite, Texas. It was so yeah. I've lost all this money, and now not only am I like super pissed off, gothic kid. Now I have like been just brutally robbed.
You got a reason to be emo now.
Yeah, prepaid phone, can't trace the number, like nothing. And my parents still don't know about this, so it's not even something I can go to my parents about and be like, hey, I just threw away $1,500. You know? So I go to Akbar School. It was actually really cool. It was kind of like this public storage building thing, but it wasn't a public storage. I don't know how to explain, because next door there was a public storage, but literally it was a room with a ring and then his office. That's literally all it was. And it was right off the freeway, and there's like a big little office center where we were. I'm trying to remember this, so I'm really sorry. And so I ended up talking to him. He's just, and believe it or not, I know a lot of people are probably going to be pissed off when I say this. I had no clue who Skandar Akbar was till after I started wrestling. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just see this old Indian-looking guy, and he's not Indian, but like old Indian-looking guy, beard, kind of stubby. I'm like, this guy is not going to teach me how to wrestle. Okay. So I go in, he's running this class, and, people are in there wrestling around doing this stuff. He shows me in. He goes, hey, why don't you just come in tomorrow? We train every day from this time to this time. Why don't you come in tomorrow, try it out, see if you like it before you spend any money. And I was like, okay, that's different. Like, I just got robbed for $1,500 4 or 5 months ago, and now I'm coming in, and this guy's like, just try it out for free, see how you like it. Well, my first day, I come in, and I actually, worked 2 jobs at the time, so $1,500 was a loss, but it didn't kill me. I'm living with my parents, not having to pay rent. I stopped all money eventually. Yeah. So I go in, and there's a guy there, and Akbar said, she's new, take it easy on her. And I'm like, well, what does he mean by that? So I'm standing in the ring, and this huge guy just comes and clotheslined me.
Oh, God.
Just standing there, this guy's probably 6'3", 100, well, not 100 pounds, but 200 pounds, and just comes and clotheslines the crap out of me. And it knocked the wind out of me. I hit my head. I just was not, in the mood to be in this ring at any point in time. And, I get up, and I have this thing. I grew up as a tomboy. I did. Grew up playing with the guys, everything. I will not cry in front of a guy. I will not. Did I want to then? Yes, I want to bawl like a little baby. I hit my head. I probably got a concussion. And, I stood up. I just kind of sat there for a minute. I'm like, all right, is that all you got? First thing I said, as tears are welting in my eyes, I'm breathing heavy. I know that there's probably some huge knot on my head at this point in time. And they're like, all right. Akbar comes back in. He goes, well, do you want to continue? And I'm like, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do this. And then he goes, all right, well, training is from this day to this day. That was my free class, to get clotheslined as hard as I could from this 200-pound guy. And then he comes back not even 5 minutes after I got off the ground and goes, all right, that's your free class. You got to stay and do this, or you going to, try to find somewhere else? And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. And then I fell immediately to the ground. And some person came and grabbed me some ice, and I just sat there for the rest of that class. I was done. Came back the next day, and I went to go step into the ring. They go, no, what do you think you're doing? You're starting wrestling training. I was like, what do you mean I'm starting wrestling training? They go, yeah, you know where the new trainees go? And I go, where? So he walks me outside. There's this huge freeway. Now, may I remind you, I started training in April. April will actually be my 6 year, be my complete 6 years in wrestling. So, middle of April. It's really hot in Texas, so it's probably about 90 degrees outside. Well, he points down the side of the freeway. On the side of the freeway, I see two people running. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Highway 80, What do you want me to do? He goes, run till you get to a certain point, turn around, come back. I'm sorry, what? Akbar comes out, yeah, and I can't get the Akbar voice because I actually am under the weather right now. But he said, babe, just go on down there, turn left at this street, come on back. Well, what they didn't tell me is that the street that I was looking for was like 3 miles down. So that was 3 miles down, 3 miles back in 90-degree weather. Now, at this time, I was playing college soccer. So I was conditioned to run. So that wasn't really that big of a deal for me. Now, when it got hotter, it became a big deal because soccer players do not run in the heat. We do, but we have this thing called water and brakes.
I've heard of those.
There was no water. There were no water and there were no brakes. It was literally us just running down the side of the freeway, and when we got back, if you stopped, there was a truck behind you honking a horn. Don't stop. There was no stopping, and I did that for about 2 weeks. Next week, I finally get to practice, and I go to start running down the side of the freeway. And they go, no, we think you've had enough of that. Come in here. Started teaching me how to chain, then they started teaching me how to fall correctly, then they started teaching me how to do moves and stuff like that. Now, I train with Skandar Akbar, but, I don't think anyone has ever seen Akbar do a hurricanrana or a springboard crossbody or any of these things. In my career, I actually got the privilege of training with tons of people. And I don't mention this very often, but, it's true. I actually ended up, right after I got done training with Skandar Akbar, I actually had the privilege of going and training with Lance Hoyt, or Vance Archer. I actually trained with him at a facility called PCW, which was in Arlington, Texas at the time, right across the street from the Death Star now, or Cowboy Stadium, whichever one you want to choose there. But I actually had the privilege of going to train with him. Then I had a friend. He was like, hey, I'm going to take a road trip up to Kentucky. You want to come with me? Yeah, sure. So he's like, we're going to wrestle along the way, blah, blah, blah. At this point in time, I was going to college at UTA. And I hated it. Hated every single bit of it. I could not stand it. I actually ended up dropping out because I wanted to pay to go on this trip. So we ended up going on the trip. I ran out of money the first day.
Oh, brilliant.
First day, so this guy spotted me the entire way. Well, he didn't tell me where we're going. He's like, oh, we're going to go to Arkansas. I was like, okay. I've never wrestled in Arkansas before. We're going to go to a place called Jonesboro. All right, well, never heard of that. That must not be on the radar at all. So I go and he takes me to this huge building. And I walk in, and I see like there's like one scrawny kid and just all these meatheads training in the ring. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where are we? And all of a sudden, I noticed that one of these meatheads is someone that I used to watch on TV. Can you guess who it was?
Go on. I have no idea.
Rodney Mack.
Ah, okay. Yes, that makes sense.
So I ended up meeting Rodney Mack here. So he goes, okay, can you wrestle? Show me what you can do. He rolled around the ring with me, clotheslined me once, as if that is just the greeting of hello in the wrestling world. I got back up. He goes, okay, all right, I'm going to put you in a match tonight. He goes, I didn't like the way you hit me. And I was like, what did I do to you, sir? I am sorry. What did I... He goes, I didn't like the way you hit me. Which apparently I gave him, like, a nice little shot to the face, which started swelling. I'm not going to say how much damage I did, but it happened. But he's a guy, and I felt like he could take it. So he goes, it's going to be me and my partner, JD, who is the about 80-pound kid. Like, legit, this guy weighs probably as much as my left thigh. Like, and he goes, we're going to have a match tonight. May I remind you, I was not supposed to wrestle. I was not supposed to wrestle. I was just along for the ride up to Kentucky. I wasn't supposed to wrestle until I got to Kentucky. But, whatever. So we get in the ring, and it's me and the guy that drove with me down there versus Rodney Mack and this guy. So I actually ended up getting a match with Rodney Mack. Long story short. Which was fun, awesome, which led to me meeting his wife, Jazz. So I actually ended up meeting with them on our way back. I actually ended up training with them, and then I actually started getting to know them and coming back and doing shows and training. So I actually got to train with Roddy Mack and Jax. Between all that chaos, I actually got to go up and work at OVW, which not a lot of people know. I actually ended up going up there. Huh?
I don't think I knew that, no.
No. Like, a lot of people don't know it because I don't have footage of the match anymore. I actually gave it to someone to make a DVD for me, and I will never see it again.
Man.
I worked a girl. I can tell you, like, everything. I went up there. I worked a girl named Reggie, who I don't think she wrestles anymore. This was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. It was like my first year wrestling. This is all the stuff that happened. So, 4 or 5 years ago, this was kind of that gist of time. Went up there, had a match, won, talked to Danny Davis. He was like, hey, if you ever want to come back up here, just let us know, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Went back. Came back to Texas. Then after that, I ended up getting a tryout with WWE that, once again, I dropped out of college to use my student loan money to pay for.
Wow.
That didn't work out. They gave me a lot of awesome advice, which I don't think at that point in time in my career I was ready for it. I'll honestly admit that there were a lot of things that I need to work on personally, physically, and, deliciously, if we could say that.
Indeed. You got to be smart, sexy, and powerful.
Yes, I was not really sexy. I was very tomboy-esque. My hair was around upper ear level at that point in time. Probably weighed about 158 pounds, which, doesn't look good on a girl that's about 5'1". There was a lot of stuff I needed to work on, but I learned a lot. I got numbers, all that stuff. So, between that time, I trained, lost weight, and I actually ended up getting to work for Booker T around this point in time, around the time that he was with TNA. So he's the one, I will give him credit for this every single time, he's the one that actually started teaching me how to do the high-flying moves. Like, Jazz taught me a lot of submission stuff, Lance taught me how to not get winded, start working on power moves, stuff like that. But a lot of people don't see Booker as this person in my career, but he's the one that I learned how to do most of the high-flying stuff from.
Well, that's a question actually I want to ask you, because was it him that gave you the O face, or did you invent that yourself, or how did that come into the equation?
That was actually one of my friends that I met along the way. His name is Gigolo James Johnson.
Great name.
Great name. If you can tell why. Well, why my finisher isn't named the O face by a guy his first name is Gigolo. All right?
It all falls into place.
So yeah, it all falls into place. But he was actually a friend of mine that, taught me a lot of stuff, trained with, and just worked out with, hung out with on the weekends. He's probably one of my best friends in this wrestling business. He still is to this day. He actually called me when he found out that I got to use the O-Face for Ring of Honor, and he was saying, I'm just so happy that my move is seen around the world, and you still called it the O-Face. But I'll get into that a little bit later and why that's so important. So, Jamie Gigolo is a huge friend of mine, huge part of my wrestling career. He is the creative mind behind the O-Face. And when he decided to retire, and he comes in and out of retirement, so I don't know how to explain it. He retired, but then he decided not to for one day.
He's a wrestler,
and then went
that's
back
what
to
they all
retirement. And then went back to retirement, they came back another day. Like, it's that type of retirement. Yeah. So let me put that out there first and foremost. But he came up with a move. He has come up with so much creative stuff that you see a lot of people, I will not mention names, but you see a lot of people around the world use his stuff. Not saying that they didn't come up with it eventually, because we all know, only so many people can do a sliced bread on their own before they see it on TV. I'm just saying. But he is the one person that came up with this move. And when he retired, I said, hey, will you teach this to me? Because I would really like to use this. After this point in time, I had already been working for Shimmer. I had already been working for WSU, all these other promotions, all these big women's companies around the world. And I told him, I go, there's nothing about me that sticks out when I go and wrestle on these shows. At that time, I was really correct in my assumption. I was just a black girl that could wrestle. And as I use this term, it is very insulting when I hear this. She's not bad for a girl.
Oh, we hear that. Yeah.
That's what I was hearing, and I was like, I don't want that. I need something that's going to make me stand out. That's going to make me, try to do better. So he goes, hey, well, I'm retiring. Now, if I give you this move, if I teach you how to do it, the only requirement that I have is that you continue to call it the O-face.
Yes.
So when on Ring of Honor TV, when I did the O-face, and this guy goes, I believe that's what she calls the O-face. The enlightenment on his face was amazing. I don't even know if I used the right word there, but it was very fun to see his face when, she says that. So that's why the move is called the O-face. I am sad to say I am not creative enough to come up with that move. If I was, I'd be taking all the glory from it, and it probably wouldn't be called the O-face. So,
thing is with the O-face though, it looks really difficult to execute, and yet when you do it, you never seem to mess it up at all. I mean, how much practice did it take to be able to nail a move like that, where essentially you've got to fly blind for a bit of it?
I think the only reason that he agreed to let me do this move is because I had a gymnastics background. Now, I'm not saying that, anyone can go out there and not do it. Like, I'm not saying go out there, you'll mess it up, you didn't have a gymnastics background. But in gymnastics, you have to learn how to control your body. I had that background. It might not be as good as it used to be, but I do have that background, and he had that background. That's why he said, you know what, fine, I'll teach you how to do it. Even with my gymnastics background, knowing how to control my body, learning how to spin through the air, stuff like that, it still took me 2 months to learn how to do it. And when I first started doing the move, I only did it from the second rope.
Right.
Wouldn't that make it even harder?
Yeah. See, not exactly. It just means that I don't have to control my body for a long amount of time. It's a shorter amount of time that I actually have to control my body. So when I actually got to Shimmer, and I ended up wrestling, I'm trying to remember all this stuff, I'm sorry. I ended up wrestling Jessie McKay. I decided that if I was going to win this match, I'm going to have to do this move. And I ended up doing the O-face, catching her with the O-face, which was the debut of that move at Shimmer. I possibly could have won that match, but she rolled out of the ring. But that is probably, I want to say that's the first time I've done that move off the top rope was at Shimmer.
Wow.
So I got my courage up, and now I land on my butt from the top rope after doing a half turn in the air and hitting someone with a stunner. So that's basically it. I mean, it was a really hard move to learn. I can't tell you how much rug burn and mat burn I have on my arms and legs from not being able to turn in time and stuff like that. So
I think it's safe to say you've mastered it now, though.
Yeah.
I could say that I've mastered it to an extent, because I tried to do it off a ladder on an iPPV, and I don't know what happened.
It looked good. I mean, we watched that, and I mean, I think our jaws fell open, but yeah, it looked fine. It was crazy.
I have never been so scared in my life to do something. Because I know this is going to sound bad, but for a person that does a ton of high flying stuff, I hate heights. I do. And I will bluntly admit it all over the world. I hate heights. So the fact that you guys, you guys may have saw an O-face, but I saw, oh my God, I'm going to die as I'm going down. And I thought that if I died, I'm going to take someone with me. So
that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. If you're gonna die, take someone with you.
Yeah, dying anecdotes. Yeah.
So you guys may have saw an O-face off the ladder, but that's what was going through my mind. I'm going to die. I'm taking her with me.
Fine.
Well, you covered up your fear very well. I'll have to say that.
Good.
Now, we talked about the O-Face and how that came into your life. One other thing I want to ask you is I happened to find a match online of you from PWA, and you were wrestling under the name of Trouble.
Yes.
Now, tell us about that for a second, but also then tell us how you came across the new name then of the wrestling goddess Athena. Who gave that to you? Was that Gigolo as well?
No, that was actually given to me by Skandar Akbar. When I first started wrestling, I had a huge trouble trying to come up with a name for myself, which I don't think everyone does, but I did. I did. I'm not, like, when I first started wrestling, I was extremely shy. May I remind you, I was in the goth phase of my life for like a year prior to that.
Very
so, like, I didn't.
Yeah, were you watching a lot of Tim Burton movies around that time?
Oh no! I hate Tim Burton movies. As a matter of fact, I hate them.
How does this work?
I wish the comedic duo of Johnny Depp and Tim Burton would die, so I could actually get a movie that isn't Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm sorry, not Pirates of the Caribbean. Jack Sparrow in this movie. Let me put it that way. So.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like, have you seen what's the new movie coming out? Lone Ranger with Tonto, and Jack Sparrow is Tonto. That's all it is. He just puts like different makeup on his face. That's all it is. You can't sell me on that. But going back to this name thing, because don't get me started on this too, because I saw way too many horrible movies this past year with them.
Okay.
But like. Skandar Akbar, actually, after I actually completed training, I was wrestling under like 30 different names when I first started wrestling.
Oh, give us some examples.
Yeah, please.
I think I wrestled under Christina, Adriana, like, I think I did Alice at one show. Like, I had some pretty, like, weird, messed up names. So I ended up being Akbar at a show. He goes, "Hey, you're just a little wrestling goddess," he said. I go, huh. And as a kid, I can barely tell you anything about Greek mythology now, but I was like, yeah, maybe I should use a Greek name. Like, immediately after he said that, and I go, hey, Akbar, what do you think? And back then, I was probably a little bit more knowledgeable about the subject. I go, hey, what do you think of the name Athena? He goes, I like it. You call yourself Athena the wrestling goddess, and whatever show I was on that day, that's what I wrestled under. And it had a nice ring to it. I started using it. And then, mythology-wise, if I can get this correct, Athena is the goddess of victory in battle, or victory in war. Also the goddess of wisdom. So it kind of blended in with everything that I had going on. So that's how I got that name. When I started wrestling for Booker, funny story. My first show for Booker, I got called, it's December 21st, middle of the week. I think it's like a Monday, whatever year it was, I can't tell you. Just know it's more than 2 years ago. It's probably like 3 or 4 years. When I first started, I got a phone call Monday morning of, December 21st. And it's Booker T. Which that was a very weird phone call to get from it was an unknown number. I answer, I go, hello. He goes, looking for, Athena. And I'm like, yeah. Hey, you got referred to me by a girl that you wrestled. We want you to come down to our Christmas show that we're having. All right, when's that? Wednesday.
Okay.
And of course, Booker T's on the phone, so I'm not going to say no.
Of course.
Of course, it's just Booker T. Who's going to say no to him? No. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. Where's it at? It's in Houston, Texas. It's in a city called Pasadena. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll be there. Didn't even map quest Pasadena. I live in Dallas, Texas. Pasadena is about 6 hours away. So not only did I just agree to something that's not really probably the best decision, since I'm going to have to take off work at the last minute, I'm going to have to drive 6 hours to get there. So I ended up calling. I called into work the day of. I'm like, oh, I'm so sick. I can't come in. We've all done it. Yeah. And then we go to like a comic book store or something. So I hop in my little 5-speed Acura. Yes, I had to drive 6 shifts all the way down to Houston. And I drove down to do the show. When I get there, he goes, hey, we're going to have you valet. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine. You're Booker T. If you want to valet, I'll toss on some heels. Let's valet. You know? So I go down there. Didn't know how to put on makeup. Once again, grew up as a tomboy. Sharmell comes in. She shows me. She goes, "Oh, baby, you got to put on something." So Sharmell and I think one of the other girls, they taught me how to do makeup at the show. So I ended up like bringing an elf hat, and I had like a red shirt and like a camisole in my bag. So we have turned that into a Christmas elf. Go figure, right?
Of course.
And they're like, hey, you're going to valet these two new guys. You're all debuting the same day, blah, blah, blah. We'll have you wrestle later on, blah, 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 when we start our women's division. Cool. So I get there, and I'm valeting. I don't even think you guys can guess this. They're currently signed to WWE now.
Oh, God. Who was
okay, Texans.
Who was in Booker
It is a
T's
tag team.
I don't even know who was in Booker T's school at that time. Who could that be?
No,
Okay.
they're debuting with me.
Okay.
I guarantee none of you will guess this.
Okay.
Is it still a tag team?
It's a tag team.
Still a tag team, is it?
Well, it's the Usos.
Oh, okay. All right.
I actually ended up valeting them their first match. Ever.
Their first match ever. Okay.
Ever. So we get out there, and, we're meeting each other. Oh, okay, I'm Athena. You okay? Blah, blah, blah. I still don't know which one is which.
I'm still
I valeted them for four matches. 4 matches. I don't know. I know each of them has like a different tattoo on their right arm, but like from far away you can't tell, and I can't determine people off tattoos. And I was never around them 100% to actually get them to know personality-wise. So, my bad.
That could be interesting for managing someone. Come on, you.
Well, it was like, all right, so here's the thing. So my mom ends up calling during the show. She's like, where are you?
Oh, God.
Because she has gone I used to wait tables. So she has gone to my job to surprise me.
Oh, no.
And it's found out that I am not there, and I am not home, and school is closed. So, where are you? Oh, I'm at a friend's house. No, you're not. I already called them. Oh, crap. So, it's around the time that I'm supposed to go out, and I'm like, Mom, I just can't deal with this right now. I'm sorry. I hang up the phone. I put it down, and my phone just starts blowing up in the middle of the show. Well, eventually, I told Booker what's going on. He ends up talking to my mom. So the first time I was there, they were like, we're going to call you guys Yin and Yang, and we'll figure out a name for you. Whatever. And they announced it as Here. Yes, they announced it as Here Comes Trouble.
Right.
That was our group name. So he gets done talking to my phone. He goes, man, you're nothing but trouble. You gave up a lot to try to, come to this show. You could have lost your job. My mom went to my job. I could have got fired for, like all this stuff happened, And he goes, man, you're just nothing but trouble. Nothing but, you know what? I'm going to call you Trouble from here on out. And from every day since then, I've been Trouble at Booker T's TWA. And when they said, here comes Trouble, from there on out, it was always me, not really the guys. Here comes Trouble and Yin and Yang. And that's how they got their too. But really funny story about that. I was valeting the Usos, and I don't remember if this was like our first or second show. It might have been that same show. I don't really remember because there was so much going on that first show, especially with me and my mom and job and all this other stuff. So I'm like, so I'm out there valeting. They end up beating these guys. It's like, yay, it's celebration time. All of a sudden, Umaga's music hits.
Uh-oh.
And the only reason I knew it was Umaga is because Umaga came out. I knew nothing about this. This wasn't planned. I am in high heels and a dress or whatever I'm in. And I go, all right, well, maybe it's not going to be that bad. And then he just boots the crap out of someone in the face. Like one of the guys that was just going to the back, just gives him a big boot. I flied out and I was like, no, you guys got this. See you later. You guys Catfish, you will protect me from this wild man coming down the ring. I've never done that. And he gets in the ring, and, like, another guy gets up and turns. He just kicks this guy in the face. And I'm just like, they're not going to survive, and I'm not going in that ring. Nope, I'm not going to be caught in there. And he ends up giving him a hug, and I was like, oh. That's weird. So they end up, they're like, come on, it's fine, get in the ring. And he gives me a big hug, and he goes, scared you, didn't I? Like, and then just says that and just backs off. And I'm like, oh my God, I just met Umaga. And he realizes that he scared the crap out of me. Even better.
In fairness, though, your first reaction was the absolutely correct one.
My first reaction was, what the crap is going on? And am I in mortal danger at this point in time?
Yes, running was the best move. Well, probably not in heels, actually, because you probably won't get very far.
I felt bad, too, because, like, I totally had a damsel in distress moment. And I guess it doesn't really matter because I don't go down there anymore and I don't work for them anymore. But when I jumped down off the apron, because I'm a tomboy, you know, like, if I have to run, I'll kick off some heels and run. Well, I had a damsel in distress moment. So he slides in the ring, I jump down to, like, bounce over the guardrail, because that was my initial attempt. I'm like, I'm not going to be dumb. I'm not going to run past him. I will go over the guardrail and then leave that way. That was, you know, I had a plan. So I jumped down, and my heel gets stuck in the mat. Like, the mat just bursts under my heel, and it's, like, swallowed it whole. So as this is going on, they're having, like, this big exchange, and I'm like, no. And for some reason, I was dumb and didn't just take off the heel and leave it there. I decided to fight for it. So they're all hugging it out. I turn around. They're like, come in. I'm like, okay. I'm totally not stuck here. You know, so I mean I think that's pretty funny because who else would it be? Like, I just didn't understand what was going on.
Oh,
yeah, I think anybody would probably do the same thing.
Yeah, self-preservation is the best first instinct.
Yeah. Having said that, I probably wouldn't end up with a heel getting caught in the mat because, you know, high heels are my thing.
Yeah, see, I don't wear high heels, and ever since I ended up messing up my heel, I had a match with Mercedes Martinez at Shimmer, and I ended up cracking my heel in the match.
Good.
Yeah, it was like small. They put me in a boot for like 4 months or whatever, which was, you know, just enough time for me to come back train and then wrestle Mercedes again. And I ended up cracking my heel, just like, it was like a hairline fracture in my heel, but it hurt so bad. Sorry, excuse me. But I can't wear like certain heels anymore. I have to wear like wedges, so I can't wear the sexy heels anymore. So you always see me in like tennis shoes or something low to the ground. So I can't. I don't do the heels anymore. They're not really. It was something that I struggled to walk in to begin with, but I just can't do them anymore. I commend those that can, though. You can add 6 inches to your height and not fall over or look like an idiot walking like a giraffe. Like, power to you, dude.
Well, yeah, absolutely fair enough. So listen, we're getting together the different constituent parts of what makes you as a wrestler now. We've got the O-face, we've got the name. One of the other big things that you're known for, and that's kind of like, I guess if you've got a catchphrase or whatever, this is your catchphrase, but you like to call people Hussy. How did that come in? Because that's like an old style insult, like yo, you Hussy. So I mean, how did you work that into your gimmick as well?
That's very man. That's kind of long. I'll try to. That one's actually longer than I think any other story. But I will try to cut corners and get through it as best I can.
Do it.
At ACW, when I first came back to ACW in 2009, I believe, I ended up getting put in a group called the Submission Squad. Now, me and one of the members of the Submission Squad, Davey Vega, did not get along, and he always called me a hussy. So in retaliation, I would call him a hussy, and it's something that ended up catching on just between the two of us and at the show. Well, it turned into an inside joke after a while. But I guess the people that actually followed ACW at Shimmer and stuff like that, they actually started learning that, like, okay, this is kind of her thing now. Okay, but in reality, it was Vegas thing that I used in retaliation and then just started using, you know, because it was like, oh, look at that hussy over there when we'd all go out and stuff like that. And, you know, it's better than saying, oh, look at that bitch over there, or look at that slut over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite an old school insult.
Yeah, a lot of people just laugh at it. And it actually became one of those things, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to, ACW's known for no rules, no censors, stuff like that. And I have quite the potty mouth. If you've never seen me at a show that isn't a family show, I have quite the potty mouth. Sorry, I'm not proud of it, but it happens. But, you know, when I get pissed off or angry, instead of yelling out, God, this stupid bitch, or, you know, oh, stupid, you know, C-word, or something like that, you know, I use the word hussy. So, hussy actually became, like, kind of a PG insult for me. Something for me to say and lash out all my anger without, like, you know, I don't know.
Without hitting the lowest common denominator, yeah.
Yeah, without, like, lessening myself as a person. Because I feel, honestly, like, as much as I cuss, I do feel like cussing is a very unladylike thing, like a thing that just shows how ignorant and stupid that you are. So, and I'm very ashamed that I cuss the way I do. I really am. But
it's clever. That's what it is.
It is, yeah, it's not clever. It's stupid. It's dumb. Like, oh, come up, you know, I think that's why so many people laugh at The Rock, because he came up with so many ways to insult someone instead of being like, oh, you're just a stupid jack-off. Like, oh, stupid asshole, you know? Like, he just came up with different ways to say that. And it's like, oh, cookie puss. Oh, you know, Mr. Ziggles, you know, whatever, stuff like that. That ended up catching on, because it's not your traditional cuss set of words, your set of, like, 8 words that you can use, you know? I wanted...
Yeah. Well, I love any of those kind of insults where you are insulting somebody, but like you said, it's doing it in a way that you could probably get away with saying it on TV. So calling someone a cretin or a moron or something like that, I just think has a lot more emphasis, and it's a lot funnier, like you say, than just calling someone a bitch, for instance.
Yeah.
It's great.
I do agree. But, like, hussy became that type of thing to kind of, like, make me censor myself more. And ever since I started using it, like, I don't know, it's something that I call like, it became like bro to me. Like, I use it with my friends, I use it with my enemies. Like, you know, it became one of those words for me, and it actually has helped, like, tone down my language quite a bit, you know, and I like it. It's something, I don't know, it's something that made me different. It's, you know, it wasn't originally mine, but it's mine now. I mean, I can tell you the first time I used it at Shimmer, everyone was like, she's a hussy, you know, just started right up, and I was like, oh, wow, this kind of, you know, which it started up, and then that led me to get, like, the Hussy Busters, you know, the Hussy Busters T-shirts, which are, like, the glow-in-the-dark T-shirts with a hussy on it, like, you know, and stuff like that, you know. It became kind of some way to define, like, you know, I don't know. It kind of defines me a little bit. It kind of just shows that, you know, I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to be outgoing. You know, I'm not just another person that's trying to be a badass at Shimmer. You know, I'm trying to show personality. You know, at the end of the day, you got to sit there and think, what sets this person apart from anyone else? Like, honestly, like, what does, you know? Oh, she can wrestle really good.
Yeah, like you said earlier on, when you were first moving to these places, first wrestling these places, you were just a girl who could wrestle. But now you've got the hussy, now you've got the O-face, now you've got the different things that people can sort of latch onto.
Yeah, it was just another reason to make myself more well-rounded. Like, I think to this day I still can't talk on the mic as much as I want to, or as good as I want to, because I don't think I'm good at all on the mic.
I'll beg to differ, but, you know.
I don't think I'm bad. I just think that other people are better.
You know, you told a story earlier on about how you didn't really know how to do makeup and you weren't particularly ladylike, and then Sharmell came into your life and basically told you how how to do your makeup and how to act more ladylike. And that's almost exactly the same story that Jessica James told us when she was in PWA as well. And she's talking about how she was a tomboy and she didn't know how to do makeup, and Sharmell molded her as well. And I mean, I think PWA would be the first place that you would have met Jessica James. Is that right?
Yes. I think Jessica got a way bigger makeover than I did.
Okay.
In that sense. Jessica's one of the people that we've wrestled so many times with each other. We just kind of know each other's backstory, life stories, if you will, stuff like that. Yeah, I can definitely say that Sharmell did have a bigger influence, and I'm still not the best person at makeup because it's literally me just slathering it on my face till it looks acceptable. But I don't think that, I would... I don't know, I still think I'd be very not standoutish if I didn't do makeup, didn't do it, I think I would be like, oh, that girl is kind of pale-faced. And could you only imagine me without makeup versus Jessie McKay or someone just that gorgeous standing across the ring from me, be like, hey, this is, I don't know what she was thinking, something like that. I always feel like people, and I'm really lazy with my makeup too because I rarely do it. If I don't have to do it, I won't. That's my goal with makeup. Like, if I could possibly talk my way out of not slathering, like, clay on my face and then, like, putting bat poop on my eyes and stuff like that, I will totally do it.
You sell yourself short anyway, as far as the makeup thing is concerned. With your career, because now we've kind of established who you are, the background of you, and that kind of thing. I guess one of the places that people probably first started finding out about you was ACW, Anarchy Championship Wrestling, and it's it's still, I guess, considered your sort of home promotion now, isn't it?
Yes, it's been my home promotion for a very long amount of time. I think the reason, actually I can't say I think, because I know the reason that I've gotten every opportunity that I've gotten right now is, it all started with ACW. And while my first trip to ACW was not a good one, I ended up, actually a lot of people don't know this story, my first trip to ACW was probably one of the worst experiences ever. And
Why?
not because of anyone at ACW, but because of me. I just got out of wrestling school. Like, I thought I was hot stuff. Like, I thought I was the best wrestler ever. Just bought new gear for myself, and I had a match with Summerlyn. And everything that did go wrong, everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. It was totally Murphy's Law and that son of a gun. Like, I just bought new gear. My gear, all the straps to my gear just broke off. So I was literally, like, fighting with one hand, trying to make sure my top didn't fall down. Like, I had makeup, like, sweated in my eye. It was just awful, just the worst experience ever. And it was just bad. It was bad on all parts of me. But ACW actually ended up giving me another opportunity, to prove myself and to show that I'm worth the time, that I'm worth the effort. And I showed them that I was, and I'm not saying that in a conceited way. I'm saying that trying to be the most humble thing, trying to say it very humbly. And I don't think it's coming across that way.
Well, you've done quite a lot since you've been there, because it took you're the current ACW American Joshi Queen of Queens. You are the current Anarchy televised champion. You've won the American Joshi title on 2 occasions. You've had a lot of success and a lot of opportunities to really show what you're capable of over that time.
Exactly, and I honestly know the only reason I'm in Shimmer is because of ACW. ACW gave me an opportunity to wrestle one of Shimmer's biggest stars, Mischief, my first Joshi tournament ever, just getting to be in the ring with her. And I think that she actually took a liking to me, took a liking to the style and the stuff I produce. And I kid you not even 2 days later after my match with Mischief, I got a call or email from, the people from Rachel Summerlyn, not saying that we're on the best terms ever, but she said, hey, Shimmer would like for you to come up and do, Sparkle, on this date, which was like 2 weeks away. They would like for you to come up and do this. I'm sorry, it wasn't 2 weeks away. It was like in October. they would like for you to come up and do Sparkle on this date. You just, have to get here. And I'm like, oh, wow, are you kidding me? Like, that's awesome. So I ended up getting my ticket, went to Sparkle. I ended up getting there, and my flight got in early. And I don't know what happened, but I ended up getting stuck at the airport for 6 hours. Something happened. My flight got in early, then my ride situation got messed up or something, like because of traffic. Something happened, and I ended up staying at the airport for 6 hours. And the first contact I had was with the Japanese girls. Yes, and I guess I considered it kind of bad luck. And here's the thing, I'm not upset about the situation. I just laugh at it today because I'm on the phone with Prazak, and he's like, hey, blah, 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 we had to change some stuff. Everything's really busy, hectic. I'm like, dude, I totally understand. I'm here. I'm just here, Like, I'm just ready to wrestle tomorrow. I'm good. Whatever you need. If you want me to lift this French fry off the ground, I will lick it off the ground for you. Like, that's how excited I was about going to Shimmer, because it was something that I, watched when I was a little kid. Not saying a little kid, but, when I was younger, and kind of grew up with it a little bit. But, so I get there, and he's like, hey, go meet this group of people in this terminal by this. So I get there, and it's all the Japanese girls that don't know how to speak English. And they can speak some English. They're all really, really nice and really, really genuine. But having no, contact with anyone for 6 hours, not really the first people I want to see.
You must have just talked at them, and they must have just looked at you while you just didn't stop talking for about half an hour.
I didn't talk at all. I was so shy. I was like, oh my gosh. And we said hi, we introduced each other. That was the extent. And then we all sat down. That was it. It was like, oh man, this kind of, all right. Aww. And then I think maybe 15, 20 minutes later, Dave finally came. I met Dave, and they said that they had a cancellation. So I actually got to do my debut on the Shimmer show. Which was me and Bonesaw Jesse Brooks versus Rachel Summerlyn and Jessica James.
There you go.
So that's how I actually ended up getting the main show. But it was awesome, an amazing experience. And then, I couldn't ask for anything ever at Shimmer, because they've already done so much for me, and just giving me an opportunity to show what I can do. The people ended up liking me, so that's why, I kept coming back, and, now, it's just even better that, I feel like I've, earned the right to be in the ring with these girls and just learn so much from, some of them, and, learn even more from others. And, it's just such a great positive atmosphere to be in. And it's just, I don't know, I wish it was more weekends out of the year, I'll tell you that. But it's just awesome and amazing. And I don't know, I love Shimmer so much. And, I just couldn't tell you. But, honestly, I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't have this situation if ACW didn't think that, I was ready for something like this. I was ready to wrestle Mischief or anything like that. Yeah, I might have lost my match with Mischief, in that Joshi tournament. Look at all the great stuff I gained from it,
Sure. Hey, listen, I want to drag you back to ACW for a second. You said earlier on that for someone who comes off the top rope a lot with the O-face and so on, you don't really like heights. I just want to mention one match that you had back in ACW, and that was the 10,000 thumbtacks match with Richard Summerlyn, where you dove off a stage through a barbed wire board to win that match. Now, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of heights, but I think I'll be much more scared of 10,000 thumbtacks matches. Especially jumping off a stage through a barbed wire board. I mean, how crazy do you have to be to do stuff like this?
Pretty insane. But I can tell you this. My motive going into this thumbtacks match was I wasn't going in those thumbtacks. And I think I was horribly wrong when I decided to challenge her to this match. It turned into... You know what? She thinks she's so strong style. I'm going to be strong style. So honestly, I kid you not, when I challenged her to this match, I had no intention or thought of going through thumbtacks. I kid you not, to this day. And I am the biggest scaredy cat in the world, despite all the stuff I do. Like, I don't like needles, so thumbtacks were around that needle subject, and I was not happy. I'll tell you this, barbed wire hurt so bad, and it actually ended up wrapping around my leg once we went through, and it actually tore a hole in one of my kick pads that I had. So
yeah, I don't think I need to go through barbed wire to know that it hurts.
It hurts really bad. I'll be a little kid about it. And it hurt, and it wrapped around, like, I kid you not, and, like, for a minute there, like, the ref grabbed my hand, and I was, like, still stuck in the barbed wire, and I'm, like, trying to shake it off, but, like, after that match, I was shaking so bad. It's so bad.
Not for nothing, but, like, what you were talking about, how about, you know, you didn't want to go into thumbtacks. That's the proper psychology of death matches. You know, that I think that's what people sometimes forget. You know, if you watch, like, the real good deathmatch wrestlers like Onita and stuff like that.
I didn't quite think that one through.
They didn't want to go in the barbed wire. They sometimes had to, but they didn't want to go in. I think too many deathmatch wrestlers these days, they can't wait to get in the barbed wire to prove how hardcore they are.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you my deathmatch days are over, though. I don't think you'll be seeing any of that from me anymore. I think after, the 10,000 thumbtack match and then the Joshi death match we did recently at ACW, I think I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. Like, I can't deal with that type of pain. I can do ladders, I can do tables, but I'm just done with the deathmatch stuff. It's just too dangerous and too scary. And I'll tell you, I'm as tough as they get, but I can't do it anymore.
Well, speaking of things being done and ACW, and we're also talking about Rachel Summerlyn as well. I mean, I know that the ACW and Rachel Summerlyn have parted ways. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm actually really sad to see her go. I mean, as much as we've had our feuds, our bouts, and stuff like that, she was one of those people that did make me better, because of our relationship that we had. I think that's the word I want to use. I'm sorry. But I'm very sad to see her go, and she's definitely, with her leaving, that's a huge hit to our Joshi division there, as well as our roster, because, you know, we don't really do just women's matches or just guys matches. We try to be inventive and challenge ourselves there. But I'm definitely really sad to see her go, because I won't get another match with her and a chance to beat her up. Grr. But like, literally, on a serious note, like, Rachel has literally had a huge influence on who I am and the development that I've had, wrestling-wise, emotional-wise. Like, she's the one person that, you know, as much as we hate each other, we have so much respect for each other, because we literally take it to each other every single time. And every match that I've ever had with her has always been epic and awesome. And, you know, it's one of those things that I'm sad to see her go. But, I mean, she has to do her own thing. She has to live her own life, and I'm 1,000% certain that you'll see us both in the ring very soon together.
And then you also mentioned it there as well, because I think this is also an interesting topic. ACW probably does more sort of intergender matches than anywhere else. I mean, like I said, you are the televised champion at the moment. You won that in a 3-way against 2 other guys. How does it differ from wrestling women to wrestling men, or does it differ at all? I know that in other sports, you know, when it's more of a quote unquote legitimate contest, there's you know an issue of maybe strength, power, ability, that kind of thing. But when it comes to something like wrestling, is it so much of an issue?
I don't think it is. I really don't. I mean, I know. Here's the thing. I know why people don't want it to happen. But at the same time, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't care about the issue. I really don't. I think that, you know, if a guy wants to wrestle a girl, fine. If a girl wants to wrestle a guy, that's fine. As long as it's in pure competitive competition, why does it matter? I'm not saying Brock Lesnar go out there, you know, to face Kim Kardashian or whatever. Like,
whoa. Let's just stop and imagine that for a moment. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Everyone would be so happy to see Kim Kardashian get F5'd. I'm sorry.
That's WrestleMania 30 right there.
Yep. I can't stop imagining this. I just see the replay screen going over and over in my head.
Wow.
I'll enjoy that for a minute.
Let's let her give birth first.
But, like, I understand, like, obviously that would not be a competitive situation. But Brock Lesnar versus Amazing Kong or Karma might be. You know what I mean? So, like, but here's the thing. We'll never see it on TV, you know, outside of intergender tag matches, which is not the same as, you know, or mixed tag match, whatever they call it now. I mean, we're not going to see that anymore. They don't. What happened is it became too much of the domestic violence issue of guys beating up on women. That's what happened.
Well, that's why Spike TV, where TNA are, they literally outlaw it. You can't show man-on-woman violence in any way.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what's going to happen is eventually they're going to be put in a situation to where they're going to want to see the girl fight back against the guy, and then they'll do it. That's what happens every time. That's what happened in, you know, WWE, you know, WCW. It's happened before. It'll happen again. It's not rocket science, so I think some people feel like it is. But a lot of guys don't feel like women could do stuff like that. And I've actually gotten into an argument with a guy. I go, and I guess because I'm not really passionate about this situation, I consider it quite comical because it's 2013, people. Really? Are we really still arguing over men and women equality? Like, is that what's going on right now? Like, you know what I mean? I don't care. So, like, I mostly do it to ruffle feathers if I ever get into an argument about this situation. But a guy, and this actually pissed me off because the guy was being really arrogant and really snobby. He goes, well, if you and me had a match, what's holding me back from just punching you in the face? And I go, do you think that I can't take a punch? Is that what you're telling me right now? He goes, well, I'm just saying I'm a guy. Like, that's a different scenario to me. Like, you know what I mean? That's a little bit more serious. That's him being arrogant. If you think that you punched me once and I'm not coming back at you like a banshee flying out of hell, you've lost your mind. Like, I swear to God, if you don't knock me out after that first hit, like, you gotta run for your life because I'm grabbing cannonballs, bats, like knives, like whatever I can get, and I'm gonna murder you. That's the thing. But at the same time, like, I understand what he means. He's just a douchebag. And if this guy ever listens to this podcast, he'll know exactly who he is, and he'll know exactly the way I feel about it.
We are so asking you who that is after this podcast is over.
I will tell you who it is. I won't say it on air because he's kind of not like an important TV personality, but he is on TV, and I don't want anyone to think illy of him. But you know, whatever. He's a douchebag and a dick. So you know,
I don't want anyone to think ill of him, but he's a douchebag. And a dick.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I should upgrade his douche container and make it a dumpster of douche. But like, that's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, he's just a jerk. But like I said, I'm not gonna get into it. But like, he was a jerk about it. And honestly, like, if you're gonna be a jerk about the situation, like, honestly, like, here's the thing: if you are 120 pounds and you punch me in the face, like, do you really think that? You know what I mean? Do you really think I'm going down like a sack of potatoes and not getting up? Like, honestly.
You've taken clotheslines in Skandor Akbar school. You're going to get up.
Like, honestly, I've been through more stuff. Like, they taught me how to fall on concrete. Like, what's the difference? Like, I don't know. Like, I get really passionate about that guy because he was just being a dick about it. But like I said, I understand why people don't like it, but I totally feel like it's stupid that like they won't. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't care on the indies. I understand on TV, but on the indies, it's a different situation. It's purely entertainment. You know what I mean? Do what you do to make money. Whatever. You know, if you think that me versus AR Fox would make money, book it. I guarantee you, I will go in there swinging and kicking and flying as much as I can to win that match. That's not going to stop me. You know what I mean? And that shouldn't stop him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Honestly, like, if I have been put in a position where a guy does not want to wrestle me. I have been put in that position. And you guys could actually go look it up if you wanted to, because it was filmed for a reality TV show.
Hang on.
Whoa, yeah.
I was
us
on
about this quickly.
It was a show called The Bussy Bunch. And it was based on a family who ran a facility down here called Professional Championship Wrestling, or PCW. That's actually where I met Lance Hoyt and got to train with him and stuff like that. But they had a reality TV show. Like, right after I started being there, I auditioned to be like the main event at a reality show. But because I was a girl, Like, that's why I didn't that's why I didn't win, because I was a girl. So, but you guys can actually go look that up. It came on TLC, but occasionally they have reruns, but I still think you could pull up, like, the actual site still. If not, I think I have it on my computer, like the episode, and I can probably email it to you. But it's called The Bussy Bunch. But it was, like, bigger in the UK than it was over here. So I think more episodes aired over there, like, recently. But honestly, I don't know.
We'll have to find this.
Yeah, but we'll have to do some research on that one.
Yeah. Okay, but you can probably find it. Yeah.
An interesting segue, though. You're talking about the male on female matches, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because it kind of comes back to you as well with a recent match that you've had. But WSU recently had a match between Chris Dickinson and Addie Starr, which was it was a beating for quite a lot of it. I know you were on the show later on, but did you get a chance to see any of that match?
I did not. I actually heard a lot about it as far as, like, Twitter goes and stuff like that. But honestly, I haven't seen it, so I can't really give my opinion about it.
Oh, that's okay.
So,
That's okay. We have a review of it currently on the website, so if anybody's interested in what we're talking about, you can jump there and take a look at the review of An Ultra-Violent Affair. But you were also on that show. You wrestled Jessica Havoc in the main event in one of the two main events, I should say, for the WSU World Title. And I know that you'd had your match with Havoc on the Queen of Queens as well. What's it like, you're branching out and going out in different places? Because you talked about Ring of Honor and how people didn't kind of know who you are because you hadn't been there that much. You've been to WSU a few times. What's it like to maybe branch out from places like ACW and Shimmer and places like that?
I think, honestly, every time I go outside of the state of Texas, I'm always shocked that people know who I am. Because, I know ACW is like an international known company, because I've had people from Germany be like, oh, could you send me an 8x10? I just got your DVD from this ACW show, or something like that, you know? Like, I know it's an international company, but I still think it's kind of, like, weird when I go to shows and people are like, oh, that's Athena, blah, 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 she's awesome, watch this, you know? Or I hear that in the crowd or something like that. I am definitely trying to branch out way, way more, especially now. With ROH, I've gotten, like, several opportunities to go and work for them, which I think is probably one of the top companies, you know, along with Chikara and ACW, you know, one of the top companies in the United States on the independent circuit, and even more so for ROH with their TV deal and stuff like that. But I'm always, like, really flabbergasted and shocked when people, like, know who I am. I think it's awesome. I've been to WSU maybe a total of 5 times. If not less. 1, 2, 3. I think 5 times. But Havoc is probably one of my favorite people to hate and wrestle right now. I don't know how else to explain it. She is just a monster and a beast, and sadly she can move as fast too. So normally when you have bigger, taller girls, they don't move as fast, but, like, that's not really the case with her. Very, very spiteful of that. But Havoc is definitely becoming, like, someone that definitely a rival right now, I think. I ended up beating her at the Queen of Queens for the ACW Queen of Queens tournament, and I thought it was a big shocker that she asked to wrestle me for the WSU Ultra-Violent. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but the WSU show. Recently, and I thought it was one of those, like, there was going to be a catch, or, you know, Jessica Havoc hasn't really been known to be a fighting champion, if you will. I thought there was going to be some catch, or the militia was going to come in, you know, or something. And when it didn't happen, it made me have even more respect for her. I think she just had something to prove, that she wanted to prove that she could beat me. So, I mean, sadly, she ended up winning, and, like, I kid you not, like, I just want to beat her now more than ever. And I want to take her WSU championship away from her, too. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of eating a hole in me a little bit. Just a little bit. But both of those DVDs are out. If anyone wants to go check it out, I think they're both available on SmartMark.
Indeed,
but,
yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of branching out, speaking of challenging for titles, what about Femmes Fatales up in Montreal? You challenged Calamity for that championship last October. How do you enjoy your time up in Montreal?
Yeah, Montreal was awesome. Sorry, excuse my melodic voice there.
That was quite cool. I like that.
No, I'm joking. Shocking because I'm sick right now. But Montreal was awesome. I only wish I would have got to go sightsee and stuff. I actually ended up having 2 matches for the Femmes Fatales show. I had a 4-way, and then I ended up winning that, which involved cheerleader Melissa, Execute, and another one who I can't remember her name. I feel so bad. Do you remember who it was?
Give me a moment. It was Angie Sky.
Angie Sky, yeah, she was awesome. Awesome girl. I really enjoyed her. Awesome. And she even got to come to Shimmer, too. But yeah, we were in a 4-way with me, cheerleader Melissa, Angie Sky, and Execute, who is from France, which I thought was interesting. I ended up winning that 4-way and going on to face the Femmes Fatales champion, Calamite. She is just an amazing wrestler. I just can't. I don't have words to explain how awesome she was. She's just so versatile and amazing, and she's not. I don't know how to explain it. She's just awesome. She's just amazing.
I agree.
I don't know how to explain it. I'm so awe-inspired by Calamity. I really am, and she's like one of those people that I really, really, really wanted to wrestle because she's just so. I don't think vicious is the right word, but like it kind of is. I don't know. I really don't have the right words to express how awesome she is. And like she's just really versatile, and she can run, she can hit hard, she can, power throw, like she can do it all. And it's just awesome.
I think what we're trying to say is that there haven't been the words invented yet to describe how great Calamity is.
Yes, I think that's what I am saying.
I'm with you on that one. That's fine.
Yeah, she's just awesome. I'm so glad I got the privilege of wrestling her because she was really one of those people that were on my list to wrestle, and she proved why she was champion. I can tell you that, and I do want another crack at her.
Hang on 1 second now. You said she was on your list. I've got to ask, who else is on the list? Who else have you not wrestled that you want to wrestle?
I don't know. I don't know if I should tell you this. Okay, I will.
Wow, it took a long time to persuade you with that one.
Let's go through the credentials for my list, okay? So nothing seems like out of place or weird when people are like listening to me describe some of the people that are on here. My list is based on people that I want to wrestle.
Fine.
Now, that could be for whatever reason possible.
Fine.
All right, let me say that. It is not strictly because, yes, it quite possibly could be Brock Lesnar. Like, I don't think so, but it quite possibly could be. But it's based on very, very personal reasons why I want to wrestle these people. So taking the fact that I'm being kind of extremely selfish when I put these people on the list. And some are just for, man, I just want to wrestle that person. But some of these are for strictly comedic purposes or stuff like that. Okay, like stuff I would probably do before the match starts, that type thing.
This is your wrestling bucket list, right? Basically, is what you're saying. Yeah?
Yes, this is my wrestling bucket list. Okay. Let's go with that.
We need to start asking everyone this. This is a great question.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go through a couple of the serious ones first, and then I'll go into the comedic ones, and then I'll go into, like, the selfish ones. So we can get a little gist of what's going on.
Please tell me you've actually got a book that you've got these names written down in.
Yes. I want to, and like I said, we're starting off with serious, then we're going to go to comedic, and then we're going to go to serious. So remember this as I'm going through these lists. Okay. My serious people are, I want to wrestle Ayumi.
That might be a bit difficult, but go on, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I want to wrestle Misaki. Ohara, I believe.
Yeah.
She came to Shimmer a couple of times, so those are two. I want to wrestle Serena Deeb.
Okay.
Melanie Cruz.
Okay.
I want to wrestle, I'm trying to go through the serious ones, and not missing one. Beth Phoenix, of course. Amazing Kong or Karma. Madison Eagles. And despite me training with her, I've never gotten the privilege of working with her, Jazz. And I can't think of the rest right now, so I really apologize. So we're going to go into the comedic ones.
Go on.
So everyone can get a big laugh about, like, how dumb I am. Not really dumb, but, like, these are just matches that I want for the pleasure of having these matches. Like, may I remind you that the vast majority of these matches are not going to happen.
Sure.
But, like, in the back of my mind, it's that I wish factor. I want to be in a match or have an in-ring promo with all the members of Too Cool.
Wow.
Only so I can dance with them and then possibly see someone get stink-faced by Rikishi. So,
wow. This list is amazing already. And we're only at number 1.
I want to see, and this is not really a match that I want to be in, but a match that I want to see. I want to see a match between the Hollies, which, like I said, this will never happen, like Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly versus Sandman in a handicap match.
What?
I just feel like, and I honestly just want to be the guest referee because there would be no point for a referee in that match. So
no.
I can just sit down in the middle of the ring and watch. But Crash Holly is literally one of my favorite wrestlers growing up as a kid, and I don't know why. So just go with it. I really did enjoy him as a kid. I want to be in a match with Ty and Kai, but I want to be in the one that interrupts them and says, "Indeed," and watch them get really pissy about it.
Well, hang on now. Sho Funaki lives in Texas, doesn't he? Can we make this happen in ACW something?
Yes. I've actually been contacted to go down there and work for them, but we haven't been able to get the dates right, which really makes me very, very upset. Because I really, honestly, there's nothing more in life that I want than to have Ty and Kai cutting a promo, but, like, I'm on the opposite team of who they're about to wrestle, but I cut in and I say "Indeed," and they're like, "Oh, that's our thing." Like, that's what I want to do. So like I said, I'm kind of, like, dumb in that aspect of things, but, like, that's what I want to do. All right, for those just tuning in, this is strictly comedic matches that I want to be in.
This is the best list
I
ever.
want to be in a match with Goldust. That's probably self-explanatory.
Okay.
I want to be in a match with Santino Marella as long as he's wearing his mankini. Once again, that should be, like, anyone that saw that, like, I was actually, funny fact here really quick, I was actually backstage when that happened, and I got to see him try on that mankini. God. Yes, I did. It was the most amazing thing ever, because I totally would have missed it if he didn't shriek like a girl. Like, he shrieked like a little girl and goes, "Ah!" And I, like, looked back and he goes, "Oh, you perv," and covers up with a robe or something. I just burst out laughing. So, quick story there.
And your first thought when you saw that was, "I want to wrestle that."
It wasn't that I want to wrestle that. It was me trying to process sorry, I almost dropped an F-bomb. What the heck he was wearing. That's what, it was like, "Oh, what? And then, like, when I actually saw the show, I was like, "Oh my God, I got to see that!" Like, but, like, I want to wrestle Santino Marella I will, you know, compromise with or without, of course, but I prefer the mankini. Let me think of some more. I want to wrestle Mighty Molly as Mighty Molly.
Fine.
I think, like, her as Mighty Molly, but I want to wrestle her as she's in that. But I want to be dressed up as a supervillain because I'm kind of a nerd. So I don't know who I would be. Like, I would probably try to be, like, Magneto or something. I don't know, just to make the joke funny. I don't know. I can't think of any, like, I can't be, like, Black Manta or anything, you know. So, too stereotypical. Yeah, that kind of concludes my funny list there. So we will go on to my ultimate selfish reasons of why I want to wrestle people, or these certain people. And like I said, these are strictly selfish reasons. And I don't know if I should explain these selfish reasons. I don't know. I will, how about this? I will only tell you one, and then I will explain why. How about that? Will that work?
Yeah.
All right. And anyone that knows me will not be surprised by this one. And my one very selfish person that I want to wrestle would be The Rock.
Yeah, fine. You'll make some money off that one.
It's not because I can make money. It's because I have this huge schoolgirl crush on The Rock that I obviously just cannot get rid of. And secretly, I think that after he sees my wrestling ability in this match, he will marry me.
You and Jessica Kay need to have a conversation about that.
I hope not. but that is my ultimate reason that I want to wrestle The Rock, because I am madly, schoolgirl crushingly in love with him. So, and maybe the goddess of schoolgirl crushes, Jessica Kay herself, can make that happen. Oh, segue. Okay, sorry. But yeah, that's kind of my list. I mean, obviously there's more people on the list. I just kind of went through the ones I think are really funny.
That's
because I'm kind of a dork.
That's a brilliant list, yeah.
I'm a dork.
Maybe
also a match between Disco Inferno. Yeah. But he only dances the entire time. I will not see any of his wrestling. But, of course, yeah. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, I said we should ask this to every guest from now on, like, what's your wrestling bucket list? But I don't know if anyone's even going to be able to top this list. I don't think anyone's ever going to say Too Cool ever again.
I mean, I love to. Okay, so here's the thing about Too Cool. I loved them as a kid, and I did not grow.
I get the reason. It's crazy though.
No, I did not get to watch like any of the pay-per-views growing up as a kid. Like I didn't. My parents we didn't have the money. Like so, like my first wrestling pay-per-view was the Royal Rumble 2010.
Really?
Wow.
I'm sorry, not 2010, 2009. That was my first wrestling pay-per-view that I ever saw. Because one of the guys that I trained with at the time, he took me to the pay-per-view. So, remind you, I have not seen any pay-per-views. Now, the reason why I want to be in a match with Too Cool is because a friend lent us the box set of the Royal Rumble, and I can't think of what number it is, where Rikishi is in the ring, then Scotty 2 Hotty gets in the ring, and then Grandmaster Sexay gets in the ring, and then they start dancing.
What a great Royal Rumble that was.
It was the greatest moment of my life. Until that day, I was like, man, I have to be like in a promo or something with Too Cool so I could join in the dance. So, but then they did that really bad thing with the Usos and their dad, and I just kind of was out. But still, like, if Too Cool ever came back, I'm totally down. Totally down to jump in that promo.
We are going to video you doing that dance at a Shimmer after party.
Oh my gosh. If you can find 2 other people to do it with me, I will totally do it.
I'll do it.
Am I going to have to volunteer? Am I going to have to be Rikishi? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Okay, all right. I hope this happens for you, I got to say. But in order to do that, some of those people on your list, you're going to have to get to the big time, to WWE.
I know.
But I assume, I assume that's still one of your dreams in the business, to get to WWE.
Definitely. Like my main goals right now is that I really want to go to Japan and train for a couple of months, because I think I've seen like people like Mia Yim come back and just be amazing, and Kelly Skater come back and be amazing, and I really think it could benefit me in all the right ways to just go over there for a little while and train and kind of get off the radar and come back even better and do even cooler things. What?
You need to tell Ayumi that you want to be her opponent for her final match.
Oh, wow. That'd be awesome.
I get to wrestle in Japan for that one. That's my idea. That's my plan. Tell her that next week. But
I don't think she's going to be there next week.
Yeah, she's going to be at Volume 53.
Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. I've been so out of touch with like the internet and stuff.
Hang on. Did you know that she's retiring then?
I did hear that. I heard that. I guess when I went to WSU, I heard she was retiring. But like, that's definitely one of the people. She's so amazing and she's so good. Like I really like, and I really hope that she'll be at the Shimmer Volume 2, since she's the next 4 Shimmer volumes, since she's going to be over here already.
She's not. So she's just going to be there for 53.
Oh. So sad.
And she's got Mercedes Martinez on that show, so Yeah, you may need to try and move to Japan to have that match. But, you know, that's my plan for you. Tell her that next week. But I need to ask you this. If we're talking about getting to the big time, I want to mention the TNA Gut Check.
Yes.
Which has been one massive muck-up after another, it seems, since the whole thing was announced. Now, you've done a gut check for TNA, and as a result, your name was put in the polls for getting a televised gut check opportunity, and you were doing quite well in the polls and so on. I did
quite well on the polls till they
and then they changed the rules.
Saying the No. Here's the thing: the multi-vote was actually allowed already before they even announced that. But they felt like some of the guys, like there was a guy in my bracket that was cheating already, and a couple other people in the other brackets, and they saw they changed the rule to. Here's the thing: they changed the rule to the top. From the top person in the bracket to the top three. Yeah. So when they changed it to the top three, I was like, oh crap, I actually have a chance of winning, because some guy in my bracket from England was winning, and I was like, I've never heard of this guy, but like, I couldn't
We're from
say
England, and we've never heard of this guy either, but go on.
Well, I've never heard of him. I've never seen him before. But like, all his votes came from like different, like, because if you actually went through and looked through the votes, you could see where the majority of their votes came from, which I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, okay, obviously this guy isn't cheating. Maybe it's just something, like, because they used everyone's real names, which I had a problem with too, because I didn't technically agree to do the gut check.
You weren't the only person who had a problem with that, yeah.
I didn't initially agree to do this contest. I just kind of woke up one morning, got an email, and said I was posted in it. Which, under, like, the gut check contract that I actually signed with TNA, was completely legal for them to do. It wasn't like, you know, I signed a contract with them that said that they could use likeness, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's fine. So technically, it was legal that they did this. I was more upset that they just used my real name, because I pride myself on... I technically don't go by my real name in real life. Outside of wrestling, I technically just go by Athena everywhere. So I was kind of pissy that they did that. But all that aside, I ended up getting like second place in my bracket, and then everyone was like so far down the list. It was like, who are you? Like that's basically what it was. And then they went ahead and said, oh yeah, the top three are going to advance. Okay, cool, awesome. Well, I'm set. And they moved up the contest end date to like 3 days later. I'm like, okay, awesome. And then I get an email the next morning that says, hey, just letting everyone know there's a glitch in the system that allows multi-votes. So instead of changing, literally the email said, instead of changing it, we're just going to notify all participants in the gut check.
Oh.
That is the email. That's the email I got. And then they realized that all the people they wanted to win were not winning anymore. Because all the real people that they wanted to win had real jobs and could not sit at a computer for 3 hours a day and just click vote.
That's an excellent point.
I kid you not. Yeah. I kid you not. I got this email at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right? I went and checked. So I got the email at 8. I checked the site at 8:30. One of the guys in my bracket that had less than 100 votes literally had 8,000 votes when I went to go check 30 minutes later.
That sounds about right.
So
that's a guy with no job, by the way.
Yeah, which immediately led me to going onto Twitter and saying, "Screw the gut check competition. Please don't vote for me anymore. I'm done. I'm not doing it." Mm-hmm. That's what that led to me doing. So, and it got me some heat, well, a little bit of heat with the TNA guys, because I kind of, I've had 2 tryouts for TNA. One was the gut check, and then actually because of my gut check, I got invited backstage to do a pre-show match. What ended up happening is that Spike TV, my first day there, they were like, we can't fit you in today, we'll fit you in tomorrow. Then that next day, Spike TV comes on and tells them, they were like, hey, we want a battle royal with the women in lingerie, which led to Thunder Thong Throwdown.
What?
So, do you guys remember that from a couple years ago? I'm
glad I don't.
So I ended up getting bumped for Thunder Thong Throwdown. So my tryout at TNA was literally a less than 5 minute roll around with Sarita or Sarah Thought, which, like, I don't feel the same rolling around, you know, with someone going, oh, okay, she's good. No, she's not good. Instead of, you know, me actually showing what I can do in a match. That's a completely different situation to me. I was thrown out of my element, and I never, they told me that I had the upper, like, if I wanted to, I could go up to OVW, which is now a TNA developmental territory, and go up there, but I wouldn't be getting developmental pay.
Sure, so you have to go on your own dollar.
Yeah, so I'd have to go on my own dollar. They weren't going to pay for my flight. They said, and they said, as soon as you have one match there, I guarantee you'll be signed, but you'll have to stay up there. Which I wasn't really down for, because the whole appeal of TNA is that, wow, if they like you enough, they'll sign you and you'll be on TV the next day. That was the gist that I got from TNA. That was the gist I wanted to get from TNA. But when they said that they have this developmental territory, I kind of bowed out. Which, you know, that's fine. That was my choice, you know. As much as, like, a lot of people don't like TNA, I think TNA would be a better fit for me than WWE right now. Just because of my skill set and stuff like that. But, you know, I have been in contact and stuff like that, as far as I can say, because I really can't say too much about stuff like that.
Sure.
So we shall see.
But
that's all I can.
Okay, well, let me see if you can answer this, and if you can't, you can't, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But they've just relaunched the Gut Check, and it seems that a bunch of the women who were on the show, or who were on the lists before, aren't on the list anymore. You're one of them. Your name's not on there. Is that at your request? Did you know anything about this?
I chose I'm trying to answer this politically correct.
Sure, go on. Don't want to cause any problems, obviously.
Don't want to cause no problems, boss. I chose not to do the competition. And by chose, I mean I got the email too late. Because I don't check my phone is actually, like, on the fritz and stuff like that. Like, if I would have had the opportunity, I would, but I got the email, like, a day late. Because they sent it out, like, on a Friday to do on Monday, like, to be sent in before Monday, and I got it Monday. So I technically did not, you know, get the opportunity to do it on time. Honestly, I don't think that I would have if I did get the opportunity, because I feel like there are other ways for me to do stuff. Like I said, politically correct here.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. But basically what you're saying is that you chose not to do this way, but there may be another way into TNA for you if you want to do that somewhere down the line.
Yes. But technically I missed out on the deadline.
Sure.
Technically I missed out on the deadline, but I think there's just another way for me to get in besides that way.
Okay.
No. And if... I won't say that. Never mind. Go ahead. Just keep going. I'll tell you after this is over. I won't say that.
No, that's right. I think we're pretty much done. I mean, that's it. I mean, you know, we've got we've got just a quick recap of what we've got coming up for you, and that is Shimmer Volume 53 this coming weekend. It's going to be in Secaucus, New Jersey, as part of the WrestleCon weekend on Saturday afternoon. It's going to be, their tickets are available. They're expecting over 500 there. It's going to be the biggest Shimmer live crowd ever. You could still buy the iPPV, watch it live around the world on wwnlive.com. You'll also be in Chicago the following weekend for the next 4 Shimmer tapings as well. Anything else important that you need to plug before we finish up, Athena? Is there an ACW show coming up you need to talk about?
Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and throw that out there. For those of you in Texas that are boycotting WrestleMania, ACW, Anarchy Championship Wrestling, is doing a show on the date of WrestleMania. That means if you didn't care to miss anything, DVR WrestleMania, and head on down to Mohawk Bar in Austin, Texas. We will be there at our normal time, incorrect English there. Go ahead, go up there. Everyone will be there. Or if you want to make a special trip down to Austin in May for all you lovebirds out there, ACW will be doing their annual prom show as well on May. For more details for any of these shows, you can look it up at anarchychampionshipwrestling.com. And, of course, watch me at Shimmer because we're all awesome. If you want to see real women wrestle, Shimmer is going to be at WrestleCon and in Chicago the week after. I think that wrapped it up. If that wasn't very salesman-like.
That was beautiful. That just went into Athena full sell mode. It was brilliant.
Awesome. I tried.
Okay, well, that's it then. Thanks very much for giving us up so much of your time tonight, especially while you're ill.